The Monday, April 3rd, 2023 regular meeting of the Gardner City Council Finance Committee will come to order. The clerk will please call the roll.
President Kaczynskis.
Present.
Councilwoman McCormick.
Present.
And Council General Lowitz.
Present.
We will begin with the review and approval of the meeting minutes of February 21st, 2023 and March 1st, 2023.
I make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and accept them as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Cormier, seconded by Councilor General Lowitz to waive the reading of the minutes and accept them as presented. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion passes. I'm sorry, is anyone here recording tonight's meeting? Item 10952, an order appropriating $23,091 from free cash to the IT software service license renewal account. Mayor Nicholson is here.
Thank you very much, Madam President. This, while it says the IT account, that's just because it's software-based. This actually relates to the Treasurer's Department. What this would do is allow us to get a Munis system that if our employees would like to, they can get their direct deposit slips emailed to them rather than printed. What we're hoping to do with this is cut down on the number of paper remittances that we give out. And every time we have payroll, how the current process works is that all of these, every paycheck and direct deposit remittance that we give out from the city are hand printed in a printer that's specially fit for these size papers. We have to refill them 4 or 5 times by the through payroll is done. The check stack is then just a regular stack that's there that's then hand folded by the staff in the Treasurer's office. After the 950 checks are hand folded, they are then hand stuffed into envelopes divided up into different departments and then put in each department's mailbox for the employees to receive them. What this does is it takes up about a day and a half of time for the staff in the Treasurer's office for just printing the direct deposit stubs, folding them in half and putting them into an envelope, when that time could very much be used for other purposes for the operations of the department rather than just folding and stuffing envelopes. So this we're hoping will cut down. It would be an elective system for each department. So if a department, for each employee. So if an employee wants to have theirs emailed to them, we can do that. If they want to stay with this current system, we can, but they're hoping that at least this cuts down because most employees kind of look at it, shred it, and then throw it out while it's there. And cut down on the paper costs associated with this as well. Since deductions are printed on these, it is exempt from the public records law because it's under personnel information. So that means that an employee could either utilize their personal email or their city email if they'd like to. It's whatever email that they would elect to choose if the system goes through. So this covers the cost of the bridge program that will allow us to go from the Munis payroll system into our city email system, and also 3 days of training from Munis, which is the minimum that they require us to utilize whenever they have a staff member come out and train our employees. It's a minimum 3 days for an in-person training. So if the staff is trained on that, we'd offer general Munis training for all of our clerical staff on the AP system.
Thank you. My only question was if we're going to have some type of incentive to get people to go over to this system, whereas some people prefer electronic, some people don't, but if we're going to put this in place to do this and spend the money to do it, I'd like to see some type of incentive or maybe a push or something, for lack of a better word, to get people to actually utilize this and do this system.
Yeah.
So that was one question that I had.
Yeah, we're working on things like that right now. Right now it's just kind of getting the ball rolling so that we can get the system started, but we would like to see some type of encouragement for the staff to elect to utilize this, but if someone really doesn't want it electronic, we can still print the paper versions too.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
Which, I know a lot of times places that I have worked, it's you get it digitally until you opt to get it mailed to you. Is it going to be the reverse of that?
It'd be the reverse of that because we'd have to negotiate that with the city's unions. So we can't make it mandatory without a negotiation, but we can make it elective.
I didn't know if the elective could go the other way to push immediately.
We could. There are certain city employees, particularly DPW staff, that don't have city email addresses.
Okay, so there's no.
So that would be another issue with that one. Yeah.
And with you said 3 days of training on here.
Yes.
On the materials we have, I see at least just quickly in the chart here, just 6 is the only option. Is that what we're getting, or?
It's the $8,000 version.
The $8,000 version.
Yeah.
Okay. It says pay stays 6. I don't know.
Oh, then it's probably 6. My apologies.
That's all right. I just wanted to make sure I'm looking at them. I didn't see a cheaper version. Okay.
So this is the total cost for the first year.
Yes.
There's obviously a relicensing fee.
Yes. Yeah, but that would be roped in. A lot of this extra cost is the construction of the bridge system. So they'd have to actually design the software for it to do. Once it's designed, it's designed. So the license cost goes
And the
down.
training.
Yes.
And then, do we have any idea of cost savings on what this could entail?
At least half a day's worth of work
Okay.
for 4 staff
Just
members.
even like how much money are we spending on like all the paper we use
Yeah, I
and
mean,
things like that?
that's the thing too,
Ink
is
and the machine breaking down and
we're probably looking at 30,000 Yeah.
if we can get people
to utilize it, yeah.
utilize it, yeah. I'm in favor of this. I move to recommend passage to
Second.
full council.
Motion made by Councilor John Lott, seconded by Councilor Cormier to recommend passage to the full council. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Item 10953, an order appropriating $30,000 to water surplus to repairs to mains. We have DPW Director Dane Arnold joining us with the mayor. Gentlemen, whichever one would like to go first on this item.
You can go ahead on this one.
Okay, we're actually gonna have 2 requests, one from water and one for sewer. We're looking at doing some paving this year, and I don't have enough structures, meaning sewer manhole covers, and water gates and, gate boxes and whatnot in our supply. So we went out and we got 3 quotes, one for the water and one for the sewer. This $30,000 is for the water, again, it's for box gates and things like that, so that we can replenish the old ones and replace them with new ones in the street. These are the gate covers and whatnot in the street.
It's one of those things we like, if we're digging in the street, let's do all the digging in the street while we're there. That way we're not disrupting the neighborhood too much, nor digging up what we just paved.
These are those 6 or 8 inch
Water gate
covers that we see, yeah.
Yeah.
They've broken down over the years, I imagine.
Yeah, they hit plows,
Cast iron, aren't they?
yeah, ducked on, and the plows hit them, and they just wear out.
Been there for a long time.
Yeah,
No, I know in my neighborhood, when they did the streets, I think they replaced them all.
yeah.
It was a sensible thing to do. You're right, yeah. I'll make a motion that we recommend
Second.
passage.
Motion made by Councilor Cormier,
Water one.
seconded by Councilor Jonalewitz to recommend passage to the full council. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Item 10954, an order appropriating $50,000 from to sewer surplus to repairs to main relining sewer mains.
This is pretty much the same item as the water one, but for the sewer manhole cover. So these are the larger structures that are in the streets, just coming from the sewer enterprise account rather than the water enterprise account.
We're talking about 10955.
Are we doing
They
the
fight.
sewer manhole covers or
The
the
manhole
lining?
covers, or are we doing the relining?
We're doing the relining.
Okay.
10954?
I think there's so the
Oh, yeah.
sewer manhole covers are 50,000, the relining is 150,000. Right?
Yes,
They're both 50,000.
I have 50,000 and 150,000.
I have 30 for water, 50 for sewer, 150 for sewer. There are three requests on me.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the manhole covers are for the $50,000. It should be correct on the money order itself.
Yeah, I see. They,
I should have a letter in there as well.
So 30,000.
30 for water. Yes.
Well, they're both repairs to me, but one's 150,000.
Yeah, the really, right, on the order itself, it's,
The order itself is correct, okay.
so just the numbers need to be flipped here.
It's just.
So 50,000 is for the manhole.
Yes.
covers.
Yeah, as far as the manhole covers, that the $50,000 would be to replace the old covers that are in the street
Covers in the
and
road,
replace them
covers in the
with
ground.
seal tight. There's a gasket on it so it doesn't allow infiltration into the manhole.
All right, I'll make a motion that we recommend.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Cormier, seconded by Councilor Jonalewitz to recommend passage to the full council. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Item 10955, an order appropriating, so this is supposed to be 150,000?
Yes, this is
Okay.
supposed to be, yes.
An order appropriating 150,000 from sewer surplus to repairs to main new manhole frames and covers.
So this is supposed to be 150,000 for relining the sewer mains.
Okay. So the manhole covers was the last one?
Yes, the manhole covers is 50,000, relining the sewer mains is 150,000. This is for basically inserting a, lack of a better term, PVC lining inside the clay sewer pipes to stop the water from leaking into the system, either from groundwater, if there's anything, leaks from old age. When I worked for the town of Rutland, We did this on some of the older pipes after several years of deferred maintenance on those pipes, and it actually saved this town around $567,000 in cost for sewer because of the amount of groundwater that was leaking into the system. So we have, in Gardner, have routinely done this type of work, so we're just continuing that work so we don't end up in a spot like they had over there. Did I get that right?
I think you nailed it.
Director Arnold, anything to add?
No, I think you did a
We've
great
been
job.
doing I&I work for years.
No, we were concentrating on the system back in the early 2000s, and then we had to do the upgrades in the wastewater plant, so we concentrated all the funds on that, and, so now we're gonna go back to the collection system.
Yeah. We'll make a motion that we recommend.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Cormier, seconded by Councilor Janowitz to recommend passage. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed say no. The motion passes. Item number 10946, a measure authorizing an intermunicipal agreement between City of Gardner and Town of Ashburnham for wastewater collection, treatment, and disposal. We previously had this on our agenda that was referred back to the Finance Committee because we needed a little bit more information. Mayor Nicholson?
Thank you, Madam President. If you notice on the front page of the intermunicipal agreement, it says February 2022. That is because this agreement would be backdated to the last time that the last contract expired with us. That date is there because we have provided those services to the town, and they still owe us the funding for that because we did not stop the services that we were providing for them. So that's why the 2022 date is on the initial document. On the first amendment pages, so the last two pages of the intermunicipal agreement, this is an amendment to that, basically codifying the payment scale for the how much? $558,569.62 outstanding that Ashburnham has owed the City of Gardner since 2015 for capital cost sharing per the provisions of the initial agreement. They hadn't been paying that, so this codifies the payment schedule, so that's why you have a 2023 date at the top of this, is because this is a new, basically side letter agreement with them so that we can codify this payment schedule and come after them if they don't pay us there. The initial contract that we had with Ashburnham started in 1995, so it's basically continuing the sewer transportation and treatment costs for the town of Ashburnham. Dane can talk a lot more about the technical stuff that's in the agreement, but that's why there's two different dates there. There is a payment that does say 2022 on it. That would be due to us at signing. In my initial letter, I said it would go to the town of Ashburnham for signing after it passed by the council. They were able to get it under new business at their select board meeting, so that's why their select board has signed, and you'll see their signatures on the document as well as their town council, their version of a city solicitor. John Flick has reviewed the document. Until council approval, I don't like to put any signatures on a document because the council vote is what authorizes us to sign it, in my opinion.
But John has reviewed this?
Yes, he has.
If I can just add, Ashburnham has remained, they've up to date as far as paying their quarterly bill or monthly bill. We have a meter that tracks their sewer that comes into the city. They are up to date on that. They just haven't paid the capital cost increase.
So their usage is paid for?
Yes, their usage is paid for. Yep. The agreement more or less is the same as what it was in 1995. There's just a couple of few things in there that gives the city more teeth as far as the odor complaints that we might get on Pearl Street. They have a pump station down next to the school in South Gardner that pumps up a force main. It's about a 2-mile long force main.
South Ashburnham.
I'm sorry, South Ashburnham. And flows out to Gardner and dumps up at the Summit pump station. And as that sewer is pumped in that force main, it turns septic, it has odors in it, and it's released through our system, and residents smell it along Pearl Street. So since over the last 5 years, we've worked with Ashburnham. They have a chemical injection down at South Gardner that they. Ashburnham.
We know which end of Pearl Street you mean.
Okay. And they have an injection system there, and they add chemicals. So it's just our agreement that's in there just gives us more teeth to go after them in the event that they stop putting chemicals in the sewer.
But it has mitigated the odor problem?
Yes,
By
but we
injecting.
notice when school goes out, there's less flow, meaning that, so there's not as much turnover, and it turns septic longer, so we have to call them and have them increase the chemicals, so it's
because
kind of a work in progress over the course of the summer. But yeah.
Questions, comments from the committee?
No, I recommend.
I move to recommend to the full council.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Denalato, seconded by Councilor Cormier to recommend authorization to the full council. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Thank you, Director. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Is there any new business?
Chris Coughlin from the DPW was able to secure a grant of $1.57 million for upgrades to the wastewater treatment facility to help us remove nitrogen and be more in compliance with federal guidelines. So we'll be receiving that grant. Hopefully the funding will be received over the summer and we can start that sometime this year. But that's just another $1.5 million and change that we were able to get through that position that we created at the DPW that Chris has really just taken and run with.
That's great. And that was a federal
Yes.
grant? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any new business?
Move to adjourn?
Motion made by Councilor Denalato, seconded by Councilor Cormier to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Meeting stands adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.